Am I the a-hole stories? Am I the a-hole for telling my dad not to bother with me because I'll be gone when I'm 18? My dad wasn't around when I, 17 was a kid. Always working, and when he was around, he didn't do much with me. All school stuff, games, birthday parties were only my mom while he would just be at home. Then it came out he was cheating on my mom when I was 7. They split up but I stayed with my mom. He never visited or would say he is and then not come. I pretty much forgot about him until my mom passed away a year ago and my life has been terrible ever since. Don't worry, I'm in therapy. I got an awesome therapist and talk to her every week online. The thing is, I was forced to come live with my dad. I wanted to go with my grandparents but he wanted me to be here with his family, and grandparents pushed me into going with him. My dad's trying to act like he hasn't ignored me all these years. He married the coworker he cheated with and they had my little sister who's almost 2. She's a cutie and the only one I actually like in this house. Probably won't see her after this, but not like she'll remember me. My dad knows I don't like him, and literally every day he bugs me about doing stuff with him and his wife. I don't talk to them, or do anything when they invite me. I make my own meals at different times so I don't sit with them at the table, go to school online, stay in my room, talk to friends, go to work or play with my sister. But never do anything with them. When I moved in, I told my dad this doesn't change anything with him and I don't care if he decided to step up now that my mom's gone. I don't want to connect with him. Even when mom was doing chemo, he never offered help until after she died. He said he hopes to change my mind, but all I said was, good luck. I was off yesterday and my dad invited me to go out for pizza, but I told him no. He was fed up, I could tell, said I need to start getting used to him being in my life again, and it's better for us to start trying to build our relationship. That made me snap. I said don't bother, because I'm not gonna be here that long. As soon as I'm 18 in 4 months, I'll be out of their house and he won't see me again. My dad was shocked and he didn't believe me. But, I told him I've been saving money ever since I started working a couple years ago. I'm even already looking for cheap apartments and my boss is gonna let me work full-time so I'd make enough to support myself, won't need help with college since I got grants and financial aid for that. He's been silent ever since and not trying to talk anymore, and my stepmom gives me dirty looks. Earlier, she said I was an ungrateful crap because I hurt my dad deeply, telling him I'm going no contact soon when he's trying to make things right. Don't see what the big deal is, when we didn't see each other for years and it's obvious we know how not to be in each other's lives. But I guess I was a jerk for telling him I'm leaving. Was I though? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. He deserved it. You could have held off on telling him to be more comfortable until you leave though. I don't think he deserves another chance at all. I mean, he can kick me out if he wants, and at least I'll get to be with my grandparents for a few months before I turn 18. Funny your stepmom thought it was hurtful to ignore your dad, but not hurtful to sleep with a married man who has a child. She's got no business stepping into your relationship, or lack thereof, with your dad. Keep doing what you're doing, just get your ducks lined up in a row before you go. And good luck. Do these people think kids/teenagers don't have memories? Not the a-hole. They also apparently don't think teenagers have as acute emotions as adults do. Not the a-hole. He's just mad because he is a terrible father, and doesn't want to accept it. If he truly wanted to be in your life, he could have reached out earlier. Sorry for your loss, I'm glad you're getting help. Thanks. It's helping a lot talking to her cause I sure as hell don't want to talk to him about my mom. It's been easier having someone to go to, and she knows how to handle my crap. Have you ever had a therapy session with your dad present? No. Would you ever want to? Or are you ever having a relationship with him? No, that ship is pretty much sailed. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for not selling my designer clothes to pitch in for my sister's medical treatment, when she won't sell her hobby items either? I've always enjoyed having nice clothes. I don't get obsessive about things must be X label, but if I have the money to splurge on a classic dress from a reputable designer, I'll buy it. My sister is more into collecting hobby items, like video games, comic books, paperbacks, etc. She has a lot of those little funky pops, etc. I love her apartment, it's filled with so many things it's like a flea market of geekdom. 8 months ago, she had a medical issue that required a lot of extra attention and work. We all banded together to support her, but she ended up racking up a lot of medical debt, and much worse, nearly died. She's slowly recovering but will need more care. 4 weeks ago, she let me know that she'll be able to handle her medical debt slowly over time, but said that she was hoping I could help. I told her that I'd definitely help. Then she said that her idea was that we could host a fire sale of my designer clothes and other things, and probably cut down a huge chunk of the debt. I didn't realize she was being serious, but she was. There are a few things that are in the queue to be resold to make room for new items anyway, and I had already planned to split some of that money 70-30 between new items and giving them to her. I'm usually good at estimating what I can get for my clothes, and I was going to have around $7,000 to give. She was hurt, and told me that she's my sister, they're just clothes. I asked her then, is she doing the same with her figurines and stuffed toys, comic books, etc.? She got on my case about how she's sick, she's feeling bad, and I'm expecting her to part with the things that make her happy. I told her that no, I don't expect her to, but she can't expect me to just sell all my clothes either. She argued that I have more than enough, and that I spent thousands of dollars a year. Which is true, but not in the way she thinks. I'd maybe start with a $5,000 new money cap, but end up selling $9,000 worth of items, so the amount is closer to $14,000. Anyway, moving on, she got our mom and dad and brother involved, and they're all pushing me to contribute more, saying that I definitely don't need new clothes. I'm not arguing that I do, and like I said, I was planning on giving her money anyway. But she's not even willing to put up her own items into this, and to me, that sends a bad message. I feel for my sister, but if she isn't even willing to help herself in this situation, I don't think I'm wrong to not dump all of my clothes for her. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. I've noticed people tend to push others to sell things that have no value or interest to them. As in, they can't understand that the designer clothes to you are the same as Funky Pops to them. I'm glad OP's sister is alive, but damn, her behavior is pretty self-serving and rotten. $7,000 to help is amazing. I'd be terrified to look that gift horse in the mouth. Not the a-hole. I think your sister was pushier than she should have been about this, but the real a-hole is a medical system that leaves ill people with astronomical bills. You are not required to give money or sell your things to pay for this debt and shouldn't be guilted into that. Not the a-hole. She isn't willing to sell her stuff. Why should you sell your stuff? I'm almost tempted to suggest OP offer $5,000 to $7,000 and say that is all she's offering, until sister starts selling some of her own stuff. Any protesting from the sister and $100 is deducted from the offer each time. If the sister is smart, she'll shut up, otherwise, OP can give less with less guilt. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for not allowing my sister and her kids to move in with me? I, 29 male, and my wife, 28 female, have been in a relationship for 15 years and have 2 children, 2 male and 4 male. When I was 15 my parents passed away. Since my in-laws were friends with my parents in the past and I had known my wife for a while before we started dating, they let me move in with them. My sister, 35 female, was 21 when our parents passed away, and she basically forgot I existed. No support, no help, nothing from her. Heck, she didn't check on me to see if I was alright emotionally. My sister didn't completely cut contact with me, but we hardly talk, maybe once a year, and aren't close at all. Recently, my sister's boyfriend kicked her and her 2 children, 7 female and 9 female, out. In addition, she is currently 6 months pregnant. My sister has been staying with friends. This morning she called me begging me to allow her and her kids to move in with me. After she heard my rejection, she was pissed, and called me selfish and rude for allowing my wife's sister, 26 female, to move in with me. She moved in a few weeks ago, but not my own flesh and blood. I can slightly understand my sister's point, but my sister-in-law has been more of a sister to me than she ever was. In addition, I actually like my sister-in-law. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. She's grasping at straws trying to manipulate and guilt you into giving her her way. Probably some insight into why she was kicked out. You have no obligation here, the choice is completely yours and your wife to make. Also, adding 1 adult person, whom you know well, versus 3 people, are very different. Plus, she is pregnant and I highly doubt she will leave before or even soon after the birth of her 3rd child, so you would have a newborn living there too. Not the a-hole. She's only interested when she needs something from you. That's no relationship. And realistically, how would she ever move out with 3 kids to house? And OP's home potentially housing 4, soon to be 5 kids? Is also an issue. Info: even if you wanted to let her move in, could you? It sounds like you have 3 adults and 2 small children in the home already. Adding another adult and 2, soon to be 3, children is a lot for any house. Does she have a plan? Or would she end up living with you forever? This is what I was thinking. It already sounds uncomfortable, but in 3 months when she has a newborn, it would be an unlivable situation. Next story. Am I the a-hole for inviting my future father-in-law over without telling my fiancé or her mother? He's suffered enough. My 27 male fiancé, 27 female, doesn't really speak to her father, 61 male, except for birthdays and holidays. She has a close, nearly codependent in my opinion relationship with her mother, 61 female. However, I've gotten to know my fiance's father because we play tennis at the same club and I found my fiance and her siblings' vitriol for him disturbing. I could not imagine feeling that way ever to the people who gave me life. And honestly, during the time I've gotten to know him, I've come to bond with him and feel bad for him. He's in no way young anymore, and is suffering from heart problems and issues with his weight. He's estranged from all his kids. My fiancée is the oldest of 4 kids, and her parents, who never officially married, split when she was 17. I secretly resented both her parents because my fiancée said she felt obligated to support her 3 younger siblings, and the debt she incurred from it is what has been putting off her desire to tie the knot. However, I decided to forgive and have internally made my peace with both of her parents, for making her feel that her mom would be destitute if she didn't financially help out. I've been trying to get my fiancée to let go of her anger because I'm sick of seeing her just holding a grudge forever. But it's proven to be a frustrating process. My future father-in-law knows he's probably not getting an invitation to the wedding, and my fiancée wants her mom to walk her down the aisle. I don't think she knows how much this hurts her dad. Her dad's ex-wife, 34 female, who I met like 3 years ago when they were still together, is just such an awful human being, but also a Jekyll and Hyde. During their 10-year marriage she embezzled from his business, and caused him to eat so much he had a heart attack. She also alienated his kids. Now he's lost his business, his reputation is ruined, and in bad health. Me and him agreed that he's suffered enough. But when he reached out to try to make amends, wanting to tell my fiancée and her mom that he appreciated their love and should have done right by the people who loved him, they continued to rebuff him. I'm sick of seeing this guy so miserable. I knew that my future mother-in-law and sister-in-law were coming over to help my fiancée do alterations on her dress. I deduced that this was a good time as ever to give my future father-in-law a shot. They were all outside when he pulled up and went to meet them. They all got very fired up. When I asked why they thought he hasn't been punished enough, they said they wanted both of us to leave, calling my act of betrayal. Am I the a-hole for trying to be the peacemaker? You're the a-hole. It's nice of you to spend time with the man you feel bad for, but you aren't respecting your fiancé's boundaries. Do you know why she doesn't want to talk to her father? It seems like something pretty awful had to happen for all of them to cut him off. You also said he married someone abusive and that probably greatly impacted their lives. You can't just force him back into your fiancé's life. If anything, forcing it will just make the situation worse. He fell in love with their stepmother and married her, and she didn't want anything to do with his kids. So he shut his kids out of his life for a new shiny wife, and you can't see how that would be an unforgivable betrayal? Me and him agree that he's suffered enough. You, the person who met this man recently, and the man who hurt the person you love, have decided that he is a good guy? Wow. That speaks a lot about you. You're the a-hole. You didn't grow up with him, you don't get any say in how your fiancé feels about him. His business and relationship failings as well as his heart attack, are not at all relevant to his relationship with his daughter. He has suffered. But making stupid decisions and or getting played until you're depressed, isn't her problem. He made sure of that by causing her to go no contact with his actions, which is clear by how your fiancé treats him. I hope you're single by the time this post really goes off. Added to add, you said you can't imagine not loving the person who gave you life. Newsflash, your experiences are not universal. My parents have been together my whole life and I love them more than anything. But my friends who have terrible parents? I listen, I support, I encourage them to find their happiness. I don't say, well, I love my parents, so you should too. Empathy is a thing. You're the a-hole. That's their boundary, not yours. It's not up to you to forgive your future father-in-law on behalf of your future wife or mother. Leaving for someone else is the beginning of a story, not the end. I can only imagine how the split happened. Don't ambush people like this. You're the a-hole. Don't meddle. It doesn't matter how you feel about him. This is akin to my mom trying to make my brother and I forgive my uncle who violated us as kids. Not saying dad did that to her, but whatever it is that is keeping her distanced is for her, not for you. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for not standing up for my sister Polly relationship to my brother? I, 24 male, have 2 siblings, Molly, 27 female, and Rick, 30 male. My brother Rick and his wife have a son Jay, 6 male. I am not the biggest fan of kids, but even I love to spend time with Jay. He is weirdly nice and fun, and Molly is really crazy about him. Jay and her are very close. Molly really loves him as her own. Recently, Molly announced that she is in a poly relationship. She has 2 partners. She introduced Rick and I to them, and to me, they seemed like good people, but to be honest, I am not very close to Molly, so I wouldn't have cared much either way. Rick on the other hand is very close to her, and everyone could notice that he was not very happy meeting Molly's partners. Last weekend, Molly took Jay to her place to have some ice cream and hang out, and she also introduced her partners to Jay, and that night Rick, Molly and I were going to have dinner at Rick's. She took Jay back to dinner and told Rick that she had introduced him to her boyfriends. Rick and his wife got really upset about it. They ended up telling her to leave, and that as long as she didn't choose only one boyfriend, she wasn't allowed to see Jay anymore. Needless to say, she was crushed about it. She called me later. She was very mad at Rick and me, and said that she thought that I was an a-hole and unfair for not standing up for her, that Jay also loves her, and that I should talk to Rick and his wife about it. And I try to explain to her why I didn't say anything, and won't say anything. Yes, I do agree that Rick is being completely unreasonable and a-hole about the situation, but his wife agreed with his decision, and although what he is doing is wrong, at the end of the day, it's his son, and I don't think I have any right telling how to raise Jay. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole, your sister is going to have to make her own case to the child's parents. And frankly, she is starting from a hole because she decided on her own to introduce the kid to both partners without any notice. Not the a-hole. I don't know what Molly's expectations are of you, but she being unreasonable. You are not that child's father, so you have no right to tell your brother how to raise his child. Point blank. Not the a-hole. First, she shouldn't have introduced her partners to the kids without his parents' consent. Second, it is not up to you to talk to your brother and sister-in-law about who they allowed or not in their kid's life. She might be a wonderful aunt and the kid might be crazy about her, but still, she is not the mother, and she overstepped by basically introducing him to two strangers without his parents' knowledge. Now you say it yourself, he is being unreasonable, so maybe you could show your sister some support and try talking to him and see if he can change his attitude towards your sister's relationship. And that's it for this video, guys. If you have thoughts to share, leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you like this content. I'll catch you in the next one. Good day everyone.